So our last presenter is Faleisha, and I think from the very beginning, I think you came with the idea of triclosan. Is that right? Yeah,
Yes.
I think so. From the very beginning, she's been talking about triclosan, and I had to sort of figure out. I didn't even know what triclosan was. Is the truth, but she's done a good job putting together, a great job putting together her thesis. Her title is "Washing Your Lives Away: Why Triclosan is Not Safe and Why You Should Be Aware." All right, are you about ready?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to set up the timer and I'll let you know when you can start. All right, you can start.
Product containing triclosan kills germs effectively, keeps your mouth fresh and clean. This statement was heard from a TV advertisement one Sunday morning when you're about to watch your favorite TV show. You got curious and decided to head out to the supermarket when you find out a whole section of antibacterial products. When you look closely, triclosan is included in all over these products. Kills 99.9% of germs with triclosan was written in a packaging of wet wipes with big and bold fonts. You buy them, hoping for a positive impact in your hygiene. However, you realize something unusual. Why is my skin red? My whole body is itching. You rush to the doctor just to find out that you have an allergic reaction. But not only that, your body develops a thyroid disorder. Now you wonder, I've never got this kind of sickness before. Where do I get it from? Started to think and to think and to think and to think until suddenly something flashes to your mind. The TV advertisement. You began to realize, but there is no going back. It is too late. Triclosan, developed in 1964, gained widespread use in hospitals and commercial products such as toothpaste, deodorants, and household cleaners over the years. Despite FDA's confirmation that triclosan is not directly hazardous, concerns regarding the potential endocrine disruptions and contributions to bacterial resistance emerged. The European Union had attempted to ban triclosan in 2011. However, they only succeed to limiting its concentration to 0.3% in consumers' product. Many consumers remain unaware of this situation. However, increasing awareness had led several brands to remove triclosan from their products. Brands like Colgate and Johnson & Johnson responded by reformulating their products to triclosan-free ingredients, while other healthcare providers like Kaiser Permanente had decided to replace triclosan with a safer option. Internationally, the FDA had banned triclosan in 2016 for safety reasons, while other countries had also stepped in with their own rules. Japan and Australia had implied strict limits in concentration use in consumers' goods for 0.1 and 0.3% respectively. Triclosan had also been found in environmental sources such as water, sewage, and sediment, which harms the aquatic ecosystem by interfering with the balance of microalgae, which is vital to the underwater food chain. Not only that, triclosan is absorbed to the human body through skin and mouth, posing risks such as hormone disruption, dermatitis, and long-term health effects such as heart disease, birth defects, and even cancer. This issue ties up into a biblical worldview of stewardship, calling all humans to care for the environment and ensure safety for all living creatures. To protect public health and the environment, it is crucial to spread the word about the dangers of triclosan and educate them for the potential risk of triclosan for both our health and the environment. Triclosan should be banned for three main reasons. It harms the environment, it disturbs human health and activity, and it reacts negatively with the animal lives. Triclosan is a harmful substance found in a lot of water sources, such as drinking water, lakes, sewage, and even groundwater. Research has shown its concentration ranging from 0.1 nanomolar in groundwater and 39 nanomolar in surface water, which means it's pretty widespread. This contamination can mess with the human lives and also the marine lives. Fish and other marine animals absorb triclosan, and biomagnification can happen due to people consuming seafood. Additionally, when it mixes with chlorine tap water, it will form chloroform, which is carcinogenic. Long-term exposure to this contaminated water can cause serious health problems for both marine lives and humans. All of this makes it clear that triclosan is a major risk for the environment and us. Triclosan is also a bad news for soil. It does not break down quickly with a half-life of 18 days, meaning it sticks along for a long time. It binds to soil particles, messing with the nitrogen cycling process, therefore making the soil less healthy, which also harms the plant growth. After a year, less than 20% of triclosan is gone from contaminated soil, while the rest, they move down deeper into the layers of soil. This can have long-lasting effects on plants' life and the entire soil ecosystem. With all of this problem, it is clear that we should not use triclosan due to it harming the environment in ways that it can last for years. Triclosan also harms plants. When plants grow in soil with triclosan, they absorb it, which means it can get into the food chain. The chemical interfere with fatty acid production in plants, which are crucial for energy and growth. This makes plants grow poorly, especially their roots, which can lead to weak or even dead plants. Triclosan builds up in the stem, leaves, and fruit, which we may end up eating. This reduces plant growth, harms crop production, and could bring harmful chemical into our food. This is another big reason why we shouldn't use triclosan in everyday products, especially those that affect the environment and the food we eat. In the end, triclosan is a chemical that harms the environment, wildlife, and our health. It sticks around in water and soil, causing problems on marine lives and ultimately us. The more we use it, the more we risk damaging ecosystem and the food chain. It's time to find safer alternatives to protect the planet and our health from the future. Reducing or eliminating triclosan in products is a smart move if you want to avoid further harm. Triclosan is a chemical found in many antibacterial sources. However, it may also be harmful towards our health. It messes with our hormone system by interfering with important hormones like estrogen and thyroid hormone. This can lead to problems such as hormonal imbalance, higher risk of miscarriage, or even worse, cancer, such as breast and ovarian cancer. Essentially, triclosan disturbs systems that are crucial to how our bodies function. Another big issue with triclosan is that it can lead to antibiotic resistance. When bacteria are exposed to triclosan over a long time, they become resistant to it, meaning the regular doses of antibacterial won't work as well. This makes infection harder to treat and can lead to bigger health issues, such as outbreaks or even pandemics. As bacteria grow resistant, they are harder to kill, making the doctors to have used stronger, more dangerous treatments to fight infections. This is a growing health issue, and triclosan contributes to it. Triclosan can also cause skin problems when absorbed to your skin. It can lead to irritation, dryness, and increase in sensitivity. It disturbs the balance of good and bad bacteria in your skin. When the good bacteria are killed off, your skin's natural defenses are weakened, making it more prone to acne, sensitivity, and other skin issues. Because of this risk, from hormonal problems to bacterial resistance to skin damaging, triclosan should be more carefully regulated, and we should rethink its use in everyday product. Triclosan has a big impact on aquatic ecosystem, affecting fish and algae, and other underwater creatures. It interferes with their hormones, which harms their growth, reproduction, and overall health. Fish, for example, can have trouble reproducing, throwing off the balance of the ecosystem. Over time, triclosan builds in the bodies of the sea and the overall sea creatures, which is known as bioaccumulation, and this makes things worse. As these contaminated creatures end up in the food chain, humans and other animals can also be affected by triclosan. Algae, which is super important for the underwater lives, are especially harmed by triclosan. They produce oxygen and nutrients through photosynthesis, but even a small amount of triclosan can interfere with this process, reducing oxygen level in the water. It also interferes with the underwater algae cells' metabolism and hormone, causing them to grow and reproduce poorly. Since so many underwater organisms depend on algae, their decline can throw the whole ecosystem out of balance. In the end, it weakens the entire system, making it more vulnerable to collapse. Triclosan does not just affect sea lives. It harms mammals too, including humans. It harms the endocrine and reproductive system, causing issues like infertility and thyroid problems. Long-term exposure can also damage important organs like the liver and the kidneys, making it harder for the body to detoxify. In mammals, it can even lead to memory loss and even behavioral changes. With triclosan sticking around in the environment for a long time, it also harms decomposer, which is the key to keeping our soil healthy and recycling nutrients, showing just how much damage this chemical can do. Some people may argue that triclosan does not cause a major damage because until now, no one got a terrible illness or even death due to triclosan. It may be true that triclosan does not cause a major damage now, but certainly it will pile up inside the body over time. This is not a good situation. When triclosan piles up inside the body after a long time, it will cause serious damage like hormonal disturbance and severe allergy reaction. That is the time when triclosan might be a huge problem, including illness and death, the same way as if, for example, a boy named Jake eats junk foods every day. It might not be a problem if he only eats it once or twice. But imagine if Jake eats it every day. Jake might undergo severe effects on the future. Jake might undergo liver problems and obesity. In this case, we can see that Jake's junk food is the same as triclosan inside our body. Therefore, it is better for us to prevent everything before big things happen, and there is no going back at that time. Some people might also agree that alternatives will be way more expensive than triclosan itself. It is true that alternatives like chlorhexidine, benzalkonium chloride, and many more are more expensive than triclosan. Chlorhexidine is the most common replacement among all. Chlorhexidine indeed has a higher price with the price of 1.8 million rupiah per gram, while triclosan only has an approximately price of 1.3 million rupiah per gram. However, paying a higher price during the early days will have a better effect afterwards. Paying thousands of rupiah just to heal sickness and diseases due to triclosan will result in a more expensive price than preventing the sickness in the first place. Now, Jake eats a 30,000 rupiah hamburger daily that will eventually pile up inside his body. In his opinion, paying 30,000 rupiah for food is much more cheaper than paying 50,000 rupiah for a complete nutritious meal. In Jake's opinion, both meals are food that makes him full. Moreover, he can save up to 140,000 rupiah in a week. It is way cheaper for him. Little did he realize that both food result to different outcomes. When Jake eats cheap hamburgers every day, it built up bad components inside his body, like MSG, that will cause further problems. Later on, all he knew is he ends up lying in the hospital bed for medications and operations, which cost 10 times more than the burger he ate daily. Now, we change the scenario. Jake decided to eat a 50,000 rupiah nutritious food daily. Even though it is more expensive than the other option, he realized that his body needs more than just food that make him full. He needs nutrients and proteins to support his body's health. Even though he pays more for daily food, he does not need to pay for extra medications that he can avoid in the first place. This will result in a cheaper outcome if we see from the overall side. This sums up that health is expensive and we should take care of them. In short, triclosan is very harmful to the environment, animals, and people. It harms the environment by hurting decomposers, meaning that waste do not break down properly, and the soil might get unhealthy. In water, it affects algae, which is the main food source for many sea creatures, that throws off the whole food chain and slow down marine life growth. Animals, especially mammals, can suffer from hormone problems and trouble reproducing, just like humans. For people, especially kids, triclosan can cause skin issues like rashes and even harms with the hormone levels if it's absorbed or ingested too much. Because of all of that, it is a good idea to use a safer options instead. Replacement, such as chlorhexidine and benzalkonium chloride, will work well and are often found in antibacterial soaps. You can also use simple stuff like salt to clean wounds or alcohol-based hand sanitizer to kill germs. Hydrogen peroxide is another good disinfectant often found in household cleaners. These choices help keep things clean without harming our health or the planet. Now, imagine a world contaminated by triclosan. The world might be in crisis state, and chaos will grow all over the world. A world full of litter where nature cannot break down waste. Dead organisms are found everywhere and nutrients are not distributed. The soils, water, and even the air are disturbed by the imbalance of energy. Life cycles stop moving. Humans will have a hard time on Earth as diseases and sicknesses spread. The animals lose their houses and plants are not able to grow well. This will be what happen in the future when you stop to involve triclosan in your everyday lives. By that time, it will be hard to heal and impossible to turn back time to fix everything. We should start to be aware of triclosan to create a brighter and cheerful future. Let us start with a small step by being aware of triclosan in antibacterial products and spreading awareness to people around us, like friends and families. We can stop using triclosan-containing products, showing no support for companies producing related products. This action supports a triclosan-free community, helping our future generations, the future world, and the future animal lives to live in a safe and healthy environment. Let us start using alternatives of triclosan, saving the world from danger. We should strive for the happiest, healthiest ever after in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Faleisha. Good job. Our panelists today are Ms. Maymay and Mr. Trevor. Let me go ahead and start with Ms. Maymay. Go ahead.
Good job, Faleisha. Thank you so
Ms.
much for your well-presented thesis. I actually learned a lot, just like Mr. Wade. I also didn't know about triclosan before. So this is a good step for me to learn and be aware to read the materials, when I bought some disinfectant or antibacterial. All right, so then first thing first, I would like to start then from the beginning. How did you come to know about triclosan?
So, thank you for the question. Ever since I was a little kid, I was born with probably at that time, it is a rare condition for my skin, which is dermatitis. And then no doctor seems to heal what I have. And then I started to question. As time goes by, it is better than the ones that it is in my early days. And then tracing back the products I use, most of the products have triclosan-containing products there. Therefore, it led to an awareness for me about the triclosan inside antibacterial products.
Oh, that's good to know. All right. That's very interesting that you base this on your personal experience.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So then, let me ask you then, why did the scientists actually come up with triclosan in the first place?
Okay, thank you for the question. So in the first place, which is the year where triclosan is first developed in 1964, scientists came up with triclosan because instead of the other options, triclosan stays in the surface for a longer time. So if alcohol, they actually didn't stay in your skin surface for a long time and cause dryness, actually triclosan preserve in the surface of your skin for a longer time. That's why they decided to use them.
So what is the need? Why then there is a need that you need antibacterial to stay on your skin for longer period? Because does it mean, because it will cause us to have a certain residue, isn't it?
Thank you for the question. So actually, since alcohol, they actually absorb through our skin, causing a higher chances of irritation and also irritation, basically redness, or even some people will not be really chochok with the products. And then this triclosan counts for people with a more sensitive skin, probably by enduring in the skin longer, but eventually it's not a skin friendly product after a long time.
Okay, so that's interesting because you're saying that alcohol itself will cause redness for some
Yes,
people.
yes.
So you're saying that there is no like this cookie cutter product that will fit everyone. So are you saying that at the end of the day, we need to figure out which product that actually suitable for our skin?
Well, according to my research, alcohol can cause skin issues to the people that doesn't really fit on alcohol, while triclosan cause a lot more issues than just a personal issues. It can goes to the environment, it can goes to the soils, and it can also harm us in a deeper way, such as the hormones. And then another good replacement that I said in my thesis is chlorhexidine, where it is a more safer one uh, with no like bacterial resistant tested, and then it is more skin friendly. Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much for the information. Because triclosan, you said that it has a lot of other harmful effects.
Yes.
Okay, so then I would like to ask a follow-up questions on that.
Okay.
Because it seems you said that until today, there is no death, right? Or
Oh, yeah.
severe sickness found
Yeah.
because of the triclosan. Okay, so then I would like to ask you, when you said that triclosan will cause thyroid, imbalance or hormone imbalance or liver problem, are those basically research in the lab,
Yes. Thank you for
not for human?
thank you for the question. So the sources I cite in this whole thesis is mainly most of it is experiments scientists do to even humans itself. So the data here shows that there is a data that shows that even humans are tested in this whole process of finding the harm that triclosan does.
Okay, so just for clarification, because you said almost at the end that until today there is no death or severe sickness found in human, maybe what you're saying is that the case, right?
Yes.
But in study in the lab, you found those.
Yes, there is people with thyroid disorders and many other sicknesses.
Yeah, and if I may know, if you care to elaborate, when do this research, start, and then in which country, and then how many people actually develop, and then what is the dose? Because it seems that if it has been produced since 1972, and we are in the year of 2025, so it's been 50 years, right?
Yes.
So by that calculation, for example, it seems that even after 50 years of using the same product, let's say Colgate, there is no severe outbreak or diseases happen. So I would like to know about the dosage and then the experiment that was conducted in the lab for this.
So for the experiment that I take in my thesis, I cited from an American and European, mostly American and European experiment that I cited in my thesis. And then, as I remember, the amount of people tested and the amount of people that have triclosan inside their body is more than 3/4 of the people itself. So for the dose, I could not remember the dose because I didn't dig deeper to the dose part. But then a lot of people, even in the European and the American countries, most of them have triclosan inside their body.
Just to clarify again, so then are you saying that this research is actually to show how the body accumulate triclosan, right?
Yeah.
Or is it up to the point where the liver function is decreasing after the people in this research were exposed by triclosan?
So the research shows that, first of all, the research find out how many people out of all have triclosan included in their body. And then after that, another research has also shows that triclosan, that people that have contained triclosan inside their body have the problems that I mentioned earlier, such as the hormone disruptions, birth defects, and many more.
Oh, okay. That's answer my question. Thank you. Because
Yes.
then it's clarified the process of the experiment. It means that you have a group of people who are exposed by triclosan, and then you check the accumulation. And then you have a group of people who actually already exposed by it, and then you check their body function.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
Thank
All right, then my last question is going to be, because we still need antibacterial, right?
Yes.
Especially in hospital for surgery. So then, or my question is that maybe, what is the best then solution to this triclosan usage? Because even FDA is not banned the product completely.
Sorry?
FDA is not banned the product completely.
So FDA does not ban the product, for clarification, FDA does not ban the product completely in 2011. They only succeed restricted them to 0.3%. And then they finally come to a complete ban in 2016. So now they have banned them completely. And then for the alternatives, as I said earlier, chlorhexidine can be used for certain amount, even for surgery, which can eliminate triclosan. And then for mouthwash, which we can find even in our everyday products, and many more. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for your
Yes.
answer,
You're
Faleisha.
welcome. Thank you.
That's all from me.
Hello, Faleisha.
Hello, Mr. Trevor.
Thank you for speaking to us today. So I have questions, and I apologize because my the subjects I have least ability in are science and math. So all of my questions are regarding science and math. So please help me. So yes, could you please restate/clarify which countries/governments or organizations that have banned Triclosan? Again, you just said that the FDA banned it in 2016.
Yes.
What other organizations or governmental entities have stepped in for the respective citizens and banned this chemical?
So far as I research for this whole year, the one that have banned completely is the FDA itself. The European Union had banned it in personal care. However, in the hospital products, they still allow it to a certain degree. And then for, like as I state, Japan and Australia, they have still used in consumer good, but only until 0.3%. Yes.
So if the effects are as detrimental as you describe, we're
Yeah.
talking environmental defects. We're talking about personal human defects that can be caused by this. Why do you think that there are still so many governments or so many governmental entities that are allowing even a little bit? If it's as dangerous as you say, why do so many organizations look at this and say, yeah, it's okay to have a little bit? Why is that?
Thank you for the question. So for America, I think America is a more forward country. It is already way beyond the others, so they have the replacement available for them, so they can ban the whole triclosan thing in their country. However, several countries is not as advanced as America, so I think they still need triclosan in a small amount for emergency purposes, like, for example, surgeries.
So do you think that this also speaks to the fact that triclosan is more affordable than some of the other products that you mentioned? I forget, the one that you said was the most effective replacement.
Chlorhexidine.
Chlorhexidine.
Yes.
You said that it's more affordable than that product. Do you think that plays a factor into why certain countries still allow it?
The cheaper triclosan is, I think it is one of the main points why some countries still allow it.
Do you think that there's any type of incentive that we could give companies to use the safer substitutes rather than use triclosan? Because it seems like part of the problem is that companies themselves, if it's going to be a more expensive process to go with the substitute, they might just choose to go with triclosan. Do you think that there's any type of incentive that we could give companies to instead focus more on the substitutes?
Can you reword your question?
Yes. So because we're talking about how triclosan is more affordable, so it'd be more likely for companies to put their resources into the more affordable product. Is there some type of incentive, some way that we could help companies use the substitutes more than triclosan, so that we're not necessarily using the more harmful product? Do you have any ideas about how that could be achieved?
Thank you for the clarification. So in my opinion, it all comes from us. So if we start to slowly eliminate triclosan, I don't think companies will have the same income they have if we still use it until today. So I think if we, as the consumer, decided to cut off the triclosan used in our daily products, I think it will also let several bodies to use the alternatives, as it is more used by the people.
So you're saying the ultimate way that we can incentivize these companies to not use this product is to basically, for lack of a better phrase, vote with our wallets, not pay for the chemical that is going to be harmful over the long term, instead choosing to pay a little bit more for the product that is going to be less detrimental. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I think for us, buying the chlorhexidine, which is the substitute, I think it is way beneficial because, as I said before, it is better for us to pay something more expensive now rather than paying it for future medications.
So, again, this will be the last economy-based question because, again, I'm out of my depth here. How do we account for the families of that perhaps have lower incomes who can't afford the more expensive product? How do we make sure that they are still taken care of? While some families might be able to afford the more expensive product, there will be many who cannot. So how do we protect and step in for those families?
So I think those families, we can, like, in the rural areas, what do you mean?
Urban, rural, wherever.
Also the low-income families. I think for the low-income families, I think government can subsidize how the medications that they use just for the safer country itself.
Yeah, I think that covers all of the questions that I have.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Can I have 2 more questions? Okay, thank you, Faleisha, because I'm so interested by your research. Okay, so then I would like to ask you questions because you say that we can absorb triclosan from our skin, but then also when we eat,
Yes.
especially seafood, right?
Yes.
So then my question is that which one is more harmful and dangerous? When we use the product or when we eat seafood that contain triclosan?
Okay, thank you for the question. I think both is equally dangerous. However, ingesting, I think, will be more harm because ingesting directly flows on your body, not just in the surface of your body. So even though both do similar harms, I think ingesting might have more visible or more common for our body.
I think you're correct because then we're going to digest it at a lot of quantity.
Yes.
Okay. So then my question, a follow-up question is that, so then what can we do then to clean the environment from triclosan itself? Because otherwise it will be keep on accumulating, and then even though we do not use the product, we're going to get triclosan in our body.
Yes, thank you for the question. As I said earlier in my thesis, I think spreading awareness towards all people is a good step for us to eliminate triclosan inside our world. I think awareness and then decreasing amount of people who consume triclosan will lead to a decreased amount of triclosan in our environment, therefore decreasing the risk of us consuming triclosan even though we didn't use triclosan itself.
That's good. We have to start by raising awareness. But then my more technical question is going to be: is there a way to get rid triclosan in the environment? Like maybe I don't know. Have we found a biodegradable agent that can degrade triclosan, for example, to clean up certain area?
Oh, so until now, it is not in the scope of my thesis once more, but in my opinion, I don't think, as long as I research, there is an agent or another chemical that can degrade triclosan inside our environment.
Thank you. That's all from me.
All right. Yeah, so we have about 1 more minute. I'll ask you a quick question. And I was going to ask you a question because of your analogy about hamburgers, but I don't think I'll ask you if I should eat hamburgers. But so the bioaccumulation part of this is what's interesting to me because it's easy to do studies on products that contain triclosan, but do you think that it's ingesting it from seafood or whatever, is that the hidden part? Is that the part that we can't, it's hard to study because we don't always know how much we're getting? Is that the idea?
Yeah, so the thing where we eat seafood is called biomagnification, where it happens not only in the fish, but also towards the whole food chain, which is us, the human, and then.
Okay, very good. That's time is up. Thank you so much, Faleisha. You did a great job.
Thank you, sir.
Very quickly, I forgot to read Faleisha's acknowledgments. I'm so sorry. Faleisha said, I'm sorry, but I'm going to do it now. Faleisha said she wants to thank her parents, Ms. Peeping for guiding me, and Mr. Wade for being patient with me, and my friends for emotional support. Okay, thank you, Faleisha. We'll meet over here for photos with friends and family, and then tomorrow we will start again at 9 o'clock. All right? We'll see you.